Hey guys, it's Soldier Girl. This is week 16 of Corset Training. I think that's so freaking awesome because, like, literally I just started. I feel like I just started Corset Training. In fact, my first video I said something like, this is not to be compared to anybody else that does corset videos because obviously I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And it's like, now it's like fast forward and I feel like I'm a wealth of knowledge as far as something that I knew nothing about 4 months ago. And so that in itself is exciting to me. Obviously I'm wearing my corset right now and it's closed and I'm actually able to drive with it closed now, which is cool because before it was just so uncomfortable. It was just like I couldn't do it. And so I kind of built up to it though, and so now I'm pretty much have no problem. I have no problem driving with it closed now. So yeah, there's a few things I want to talk about. How to store your corset. Basically, you just flip it backwards over a hanger. Simple as that. That's just so that it can air out. If you sweat a lot, when you're wearing your corset, it's going to retain some kind of moisture, and this is a good way to dry it out while you're not wearing it. You never want to roll it up because you could really, for starters, it's not going to air out, obviously. And if it's not going to air out, then it's going to start to get a little funky and a little stinky from the moisture. And not just that, but you could ruin your corset from rolling it up like that. Okay, so this is definitely how you want to store it. The second thing is about your corset. Now, when you are completely closed, your corset's going to measure a little bit bigger than the inside, than what the corset is. This is a 22 inch, so when it's measured on the outside closed, it's going to measure at a 24 inch. Okay, but the inside of the corset is going to measure at 22. You have to take into account the width of the fabric and the corset. All right, that's gonna definitely come into play. So I'm pretty sure that I may or may not have talked about this, but I feel like it's important, so I'm gonna talk about it. I made this mistake early on, and I feel like I've spent the last several weeks trying to correct that. Now, when you are tying up your corset, you guys, okay, you know you have your four parts, right? Your top strings you pull down, and your lower strings you pull up. Okay, that's not the problem. The problem comes in when you're actually pulling it. And see, up until this point, I have been just pulling it. Okay, when you're pulling it like this, you're pulling the bars apart. It's going to cause a gap right here, okay, from the bars being pulled apart. You want to make sure that you tie it in a loop first, like that. You want to tie it first, then pull, because now you're pulling it close together, all right? Okay, and that was the mistake that I made, and I've been trying to correct that up until this point. All right. Other than that, I'm thinking that that's all. As always, I hope that you guys are getting your corsets on. You're getting your sexy on. I'm wearing my newer one, which is a CS411 underbust pinstripe one. It's not closed at all, which is why my waist doesn't seem as small right now in comparison. My satin one, I am wearing that one closed while I break this one in. And I've had this one on pretty much since noon, and it is about, I want to say 6 o'clock. It's 5:30, and I've had this one on since noon. So I'm gonna probably go ahead and take this one off, jump in the shower, and then when I get out, I had that one closed earlier. It's just that after I ate lunch, my stomach is just rather full, and so I took that one off and put this one on. So I haven't really been abiding by the 2 hours per day for the first 2 weeks. One day I didn't sleep in my corset. You guys know I'm picking one day out of the week, preferably a day before I have to work, a day when I have to work the next day, so I can get up at 4 and put it back on versus it's an off day and I'm going to sleep till someone asked how many corsets have I gotten in my whole corset history or whatever. In the 4 months I've only gotten 3, and this one I just got like this week. All right. The first one was a 26 inch I had for 5 weeks, and then I've been doing the 22 inch for about 11-12 weeks. So the corset cut down on body fat? Does it make your stomach smaller? Does it shrink your stomach? Honestly, I can't really say honestly because I work out and I eat right or whatever. I try to eat right. I don't have a perfect diet. I would never imply that I have a perfect diet, you know, but I eat okay, and I work out daily. So I can't say how it is for the person that doesn't work out or doesn't eat okay to corset. You know, I only know based on myself, and I work out again, and I eat okay, and I corset. So my stomach does appear to be smaller, but I can't say if it's the corset are for someone all right, was asking about, I guess she's kind of torn between the CS411 and the CS426 through Orchard corsets as far as which one to get. The long line is the 426. All right, that one's primarily for taller individuals. I've said this before. And that one is long. It's a long line. Goes under your bust all the way down to about, on me, I believe she's 5'3" like me. So it'll go pretty much around the same, all the way down here, about there, okay? So when you sit down, it's going to be sitting right there in your lap. All right, and I think that she said she was torn between the two because she's not sure if, and I honestly had the same freaking dilemma when I first started on deciding which one to get. I thought if I got the short one, if I got this one, it'd be too short and I'd have a little bit of fat hanging under. Or if I got the long line, it would be too freaking long and it might impede on my butt, or it might go too low for me. So I started with the 426 only because I really did think the 411 would be too short for me. I probably honestly would have gone with the 411 the first time. I feel like the 426 was just too long for me. It was too restrictive, and so yeah, so I'm happy with the 411. But if you're ordering through Orchard Corsets, I mean, they have a lot of people on the site that are really helpful with helping you decide which one to go with, because you really want to make sure someone asks about what size to get. You want to go 4 to 6 inches smaller than your natural waist. I know some people might say 4 inches, but I say 4 to 6 because I would go with 6, the higher end, so you have it longer. If you only go with 4-inch difference, then you're going to have to get another corset sooner, depending on how consistent you are with wearing your corset. How many hours a day should you wear your corset? I wear mine 20 hours a day. And so, I mean, you really need to be prepared to wear it most of the day. Are there corsets that don't have laces? I believe that Lucy's Corset here on her channel, she's done some reviews of corsets that don't have the strings. This particular person said that they really don't feel like they have the time in their schedule to lace up. I will assure you, once you get the hang of it, it is nothing to lace up. Literally nothing. It should take you no time. I think that most of us waste more time doing other things that are not productive to our well-being than worrying about something that is productive, or that's going to make you feel better or more confident about yourself, confident in yourself, whatever. So you kind of have to pick your battles in all instances. Like, is either you could take 5 minutes and lace up, or you could take 5 minutes and do something else. You know what I'm saying? Now, someone asked me the difference between or asked me basically what my thoughts were on waist cinchers, body shapers, body bands in comparison to corsets. Now, when I was doing my research, I did see a lot of both. However, it was lacking. What was lacking was results. Are people that were doing either or consistently enough to say whether or not it worked. All right. Overall, I went with corset because I felt like I really loved the way the corset gave you that really defined waistline, and it held everything in nice and tight. I felt like it would do a much better job than some of the waist cinchers and waist bands and stuff like that, because a lot of those are made out of latex, which is a material that stretches and that's going to give. But with corsets, they don't give. So if you tighten it, it's going to stay that way. It's not going to give. It's not going to bounce back at all. That's the thing I like about it. Now, with some of the waist cinchers, I noticed that some of them have those bra-like claps, and a lot of them have either 2 to 3 rolls. I've seen some that only have 1 roll of claps, and so you don't really have a whole lot of room to progress to. Like, if you have one that only has 2 rows, once you hit the 2nd row, you need to go out and purchase another band. And see, that's the thing I don't like, because I feel like, I mean, if you're wearing it consistently enough, and if you're incorporating diet and exercise, then you're going to run through that corset, that waist cincher a lot faster. The difference between that and the corset is the corset, you're going to buy one between 4 to 6 inches smaller than your natural waist. So you have as much as 6 inches, you know what I'm saying, to lose before you have to go into a smaller corset. That's what I like about it. I feel like the amount of time that you have with a corset is much longer than you do with the body shapers and the body cinchers, and a lot of those are just as expensive as a corset is. Now, I know a lot of people that choose the body the waist cinchers and stuff because they really could care less about lacing up and unlacing. But I mean, once you get the hang of lacing up, I mean, it literally doesn't take long. I have a video up that I did lacing up, and I'll add that one in the
Yeah,
I think that's basically it. I think somebody else asked me about workouts for my arms. You guys know I love to work out. I love to lift. I have dumbbells. Simply put, all you need is some dumbbells. Depending on your fitness level, you could go with you could do 5s or 10s. It just depends on your fitness level. I have 10s, 15s, 20s, 25s, and 30s, and I pretty much stay consistent with the 20s and the 25s for the most part. Some exercise I can do with the 30s, but for the most part, all you really need is a pair of dumbbells. I use my pull-up bar. Pull-up bar is really good for your upper body, shoulders, your arms, your chest, your back. Depending on what you're doing with your legs, you're gonna have a little bit of oblique or abdominal, lower core workout. But I've done P90X1, I've done Insanity, I've done a little bit of Turbo Fire. I'm doing P90X3 right now. So yeah, so definitely. But if you don't want to go out and can actual program, just get you some dumbbells. As simple as that. You can even go with bands if you prefer bands rather than dumbbells. But I mean, you can start off with 10s and just rock you some 10s. Do basic bicep curls, hammer curls, tricep extensions, overhead extensions. There's just a lot that you can do with one set of dumbbells. All right, inexpensive and highly effective. Other than that, leave it then. I'll see you all next week.